Hello, friends. Welcome to the demo session on generative AI and agentic AI. So these topics are very important in the AI space. Currently, there's a lot of companies trying to identify how to use these tools to make benefit for their businesses. And today is the first demo session. In this demo session, we'll try to understand how to build a simple generative AI application. So within 1 hour, we will try to see like what all things you could do with the power of generative AI. So these sessions are going to be very practical. Maybe sometimes you might feel a little overwhelmed in the sessions, at least for the first few sessions. But please sit back, relax, and brace yourself because we are going to get into the territory of learning quickly. If you have any questions, what I'll request you is use the chat window, put the questions on the chat window, and as and when they are relevant, I will answer them. So if you guys are ready, just let me know if you are okay, so I could start the session. Can I get a yes or something from you guys?
Yes.
Perfect. So wonderful. So we're going to spend 1 hour. What I'm going to show you is how I run something on my local, quick generative AI applications on my local, right? I'm going to go through a website called as Ollama. If you heard of Ollama, just type I heard. If you've not heard first time, you can type first time. Ollama is a website. If you see a little llama icon here, the llama icon, it says that it's the easiest way to build open models. We will be able to build open models with this website. It will help us to download it on our local machine, and we will be able to spin it without much of an effort. For running these models, you need to have a decent hardware on your machine. So if you have a laptop, say like you have a 8 gigs of a laptop, that is decent enough to run smaller models. But if you want to run bigger models, you need to have a better machine. I'll show you what these models are, how you could do running on your local machine, all those things. I'll show you in a minute. But once you go to this website, ollama.com, you will be logging in here. Here it provides a command. You could run it on the PowerShell if you're using Windows, or you can download the Ollama by clicking this icon. There is also a download button on the top for you to download Ollama. Let me click on this download button on the top. I am sharing the screen. Am I not? Yes, I am sharing the screen. Are you not able to see? Okay. So I'm clicking on this download button, and then that will open up this download prompt, ollama.com/download. Then if you see there are multiple options. If you are on Mac OS, you could click on the Mac OS, and then if you are default on Windows, so I'm on Windows, so you see that it is defaulting it to download for Windows. Now I can download this. This will be a bigger file. It's close to 1 gig of a size. So it will take some time for me to download. But luckily, I already have Ollama on my machine. So I already have Ollama on my machine. So you don't have to do it right away as I'm doing. You just look through it. You just watch what I'm doing. And probably at a later point, you could try it out. Okay. So what we are doing is we went to this ollama.com. I have to download this software, which will be Ollama. And once I download, what it will happen is if you are on Windows, On the right side, on the bottom, you will see a small little icon like this, a small little Llama icon, which says that your Ollama is installed. If you're on Mac, like Apple MacBook Pro or Mac Air, on the top, there will be a small little icon. So the same icon will be on the top. Uh, you will see a small icon. So that confirms that your Ollama is installed on your machine. Other way to confirm is you have to open your command prompt. So I opened my command prompt like this. And then if I enter Ollama, just Ollama, and I hit enter, then you will see some commands like this. Ollama serve, create, show, run, and so on. So if you are able to see all these commands, that means your Ollama is running on your machine. So what I should do, go download it. Once I download it, it will ask us to install that software on our machine. So you click next, 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 accept. And then once you do all that stuff, your software will be installed on your machine. Once it is installed on your machine, quick check. On the right side, you will see a small little icon if you're on Windows. If you're on Mac, you will see on the top, there will be a small little Ollama icon. You can open your terminal or command prompt, and if I enter Ollama, you will see a bunch of commands. Then you're clear that your Ollama software is installed. All right, so now I can see that there is some commands coming up. So Ollama is installed. Next, what I have to do is I can go to this Models tab, click on the Models tab. Once I click on the Models tab, there are a lot of models which are available. Now, what are these models? These are called as large language models. The large language models are the models which are developed in by some of the software companies. There are companies like Mistral software. The Qwen model is released by Alibaba. The Qwen 3.6 model. The Nemotron is released by NVIDIA. Likewise, there are a lot of softwares which are open source as well. I can use these models. So the Qwen 3.5, 3.6 is a very powerful model. I've used it for doing a lot of coding using Claude Code. But this model is now available for free. So it is updated 1 week back. So whatever we are going to do is like a very latest things. That means that the latest things which are released in the market, we are going to learn about that. And if you see the Qwen model, you have a couple of commands of launching them with different softwares. Don't worry about this. What we are just seeing here is what is this model, what it can do, what are the requirements of this model. So this model is called as the Qwen 3.6 model. It is released by Alibaba, Chinese company. And if you see the Qwen 3.6 latest, that means that the default model is a 35 billion parameter model, and it will consume 24 gigabytes of your memory space. All right, so you understood, if I want to run this model, my laptop should have at least, like if I have a MacBook or I have a desk PC, it should have somewhere like a 32 gigs of RAM. Yeah, 216 gig slots of RAM compute should be good enough. So if you have a 32 gigs of RAM, you should be able to comfortably run this software on your local. Are you understanding? So there is a memory requirement that you need to have a decent amount of RAM for running these softwares. At least this model, the Qwen 3.6 model, which is having 35 billion parameters. 35 billion parameters means those many input points are used for training this model. So this can do a lot of things. It can do text and image processing. You will be able to provide text. It can write code. It can create plans. It can generate image, and a lot of those things. And you will be able to do wonders with this. But the requirement is that you need to have 24 gigabytes of storage. Let us look some other models and see what are the other requirements. So I'll go back. If you see Qwen is there, we also have Nemotron. A Nemotron 3 model is a model released by NVIDIA. If I can scroll down, it is a 33 billion parameter model. It requires 28 gigabytes of space, right? So 28 gigabytes, much bigger than the. So if I compare close to close, if you remembered, the context window of the previous Qwen 3 model was 256 K. The Nemotron 3 models is a smaller context window, but it is occupying more space. Now, this is scary because I don't have 28 gigabytes of free space on my RAM. In fact, my RAM itself is 8 GB. Imagine, I have a 16 gigs of RAM. So I will never be able to run this model. So then I will go for a model which is a little smaller. So let me do a Gemma. So Gemma is the Google's open source model. So I can go with Gemma 3 model, a little older model, but it is powerful enough and it is having better memory sizes. Small models, but these are called as small language models, which are smaller, able to fit into our memory spaces, and it can do wonders. Now, let us see this Gemma 3 1 billion parameter model. So if you see 1B is a 1 billion input parameters which are used for training this model. It is occupying a space of 815 megabytes and the context size is 32K. Now, what is the context size? Context window is basically how much of information you pass or get. So when you talk to a large language model or a small language model, you are passing information to the model. So if the bigger the context window, more information can be passed. The smaller the context window, small information can be passed or received. Suppose I'm playing with smaller documents, maybe a 1-pager, 5-pager, and so on. Then I can play with a smaller context window. 32K is good enough. If you have seen the Nemotron model, it was 128K. If you remember our Qwen 3.6 model, I'll show it again. It is 256K context window. If you are saying 256K, what does it mean? I can have a bulk code base shipped into it, and I will be able to ask to completely change that without any problem. Understood what does the context window mean? Means the amount of information you can pass or receive. So 32K is decent enough. I'll not say that it is bad. It is decent enough for the size of the model. So you are seeing that 815 megabytes, everybody comfortably can run this on your 8 gig machine, right? I don't, I unless until we are very hand tied, people, I don't see that anybody running a very older laptop or just a 2 gig or a 4 gig laptop, right? In olden days, we used to have 4 GB laptops, but nowadays the decent ones, you get a 8 GB or maybe even bigger ones, like 16 GB laptops and so on. So for an 8 GB laptop, you will be comfortably be able to run this model, 815 megabytes, 32 gig of this thing, only text model. So if I go with the bigger ones, the default one is 4 billion parameter model, 3.2 gig space. This is also decent enough. I can still run this model. It will have 128K of context window, and it can work with text and image both. If you are following so far so good, you can just let me know following. Gemma 4, I'll show you the example of Gemma 4, which is the latest Google model, open source Google model. Gemma 4 is the model designed to deliver frontier level performance for the size. Okay. So if I can scroll down, if you see the latest Gemma model, it will consume around 9.6 GB, right? If you have a decent 16 gigabytes of space, then I could use 9.6 GB. And now with the Gamma model, Gamma 4 model, you will be able to do even better things, even better wonders you could do. Now you might ask, Sitaram, what is the wonder this model will do? Okay, for that, I have to go to the command line prompt. Let me clear this off. Yes. So the way if you have to run these models, so I can go to Gamma 3. I'll show you how to run these models. If you go to Gamma 3, there is a command which will be given. If I want to run from a command line prompt, you could say Ollama run Gamma 3. I copy this. So Gamma 3, ideally, this is the smaller model which I have. So I can copy this and I say Ollama run and the model name. Ollama run and the model name, which is Gamma 3 1 billion, colon 1 billion. Can we create a small language model or can we update the existing LLMs? For creating the small language models, you need to have a lot of amount of information, data, and so on. Then you will be able to create. And you need to have a heavy infrastructure because you need to have a lot of infrastructure for training the data. So generally, it is advisable to work with small language models. And if at all you require any updating of the models or what we call it as fine tuning. If you want to fine tune the existing model, that is a recommended approach. But even for fine tuning, you would require a decent amount of hardware. In our course, we will learn about how do we fine tune for our own requirements and so on. But that can be done. But it requires time, effort, and pretty decent hardware. Understood? So, okay, so if I want to run this model, I can go say Ollama run Gamma 3 1 billion and hit enter. So it will take a second for initializing this model, Gamma 3 model. And once it is done, you will be able to see that it will be ready to accept our prompts. So it will become our local ChatGPT. So here it is asking send a message. So it has become our local ChatGPT. I can ask questions like, hello, who are you? And then it is quickly responding. I'm a large language model trained by Google DeepMind. I am OpenWeight's AI assistant, which means I'm publicly available to use. All right. So I can say, what can you do? So there you go. It is quickly responding, saying that it can do text generation, understanding processing. It can understand the context, write code, translate languages, and all that stuff. If you see all these stars, these are called as markdown format, which will be like, okay, you'll have this bold characters, then you'll have a subheadings will be bolded, and so on. When you see this in a web or any other markdown reading format, you will see this as a nicely documented answer. Okay, most of the LLMs respond in a markdown format. So you see that this is a markdown format response. In a command line prompt, you see all these stars and so on, but I'll show you in a minute about how this really works. Now I can ask further questions saying that, can you tell me a joke? So, can you tell me a joke? So it is spit out one joke saying, why don't data scientists trust atoms? Because they make up everything. That's what's the joke. A little nerdy joke, but I'm okay with it. Can you write a program in Python to add two numbers? I'm just asking a question to write a code in Python to add two numbers. So if you see, it's writing so much. All right. So if you see, it has written the code here. This is the code, and this is the explanation and all that stuff. And we are able to see all those things. All right, so this is how it is calling. And now what is happening is I'm directly interacting with the LLM from the command line. So we spend around 20 minutes, and now I will be able to see that 15 minutes maybe, but now I'm able to completely run a model locally from my command line. Command line is not very acceptable in sense, I can just interact with a model from a command line interface, but rather I would like to do it more programmatically. If I want to run something programmatically, then I need to maybe run another way. So I open up a code base. So I'm opening up a code base here. Now, instead of running programmatically, I want to run it via a program so that I can control the parameters, I can control the input output to the models. How do I interact with the model? So all those things can be controlled. So instead of running from a command line here, I will run it via a program. All right. So small little program. If you don't know anything about Python or anything about programming, don't worry. Just relax. Just look at what's happening. The amount of time we are spending, for the amount of the time we will be getting 10x value. Okay. So we spend around 20 minutes now, and what we understood is I can quickly download a model, run it locally, and I will be able to do a lot of things. So if you're understanding what I'm saying, just give a yes in the chat so that I understand that it's sinking in the brain. Right. So let us continue. So what is the fun if I can't control things and do much better things, right? So let us do much better things. So I want to write a program, then I interact with the Olama in the backend with a library, and I will be able to do much better things. So this program is a small little program. We can call it as a IPython notebook, where generally the data scientist, AI engineers will write code. Uh, as we go deeper in the course, I will explain more things like how do we write code, how do we utilize this IPython notebook or a Jupyter notebook environment. All those things we will cover. But for today, I will just go through this and then I run this and then show you how it works. So by default, if you see, there are a few libraries I am using. One is the Python display library, other one is the Olama library, and third one is called as a Gradio library, which is a library for creating a small little UI. And if I select my Python environment, these now they show this yellow color markers, warning symbol saying that they are not importing the library because I have not selected any Python environment. I can select, I have multiple Python environments on my machine. So I'll select one Python environment where I have already installed these libraries. So once I select the Python 3.13 environment, you see that these small little yellow things went away and they have resolved. So these libraries are available, so I can run this little play button. So they will start, failing to start the kernel. Sometimes this will give this issue. Let me pick another kernel. Let me close it. Let me open up. Give me a second. We failed to start the kernel. This what says that I am running in a real time. This one happens because the kernel didn't point properly. Give me a second, guys. All right. So yeah, close the other ones. So I've imported the libraries, IPython, Ollama, and Gradio. So we'll be using a model, the same model, Gemma 3 1 billion parameter. I do have other models like the Llama model from Meta, DeepSeek model from Chinese DeepSeek company, and so on. So I run these models. So I will be using the Gamma 3 model. When we are programmatically talking to these LLMs, you need to provide two prompts. The first one is called as a system prompt. The second one is called as a user prompt. Generally, when we talk via ChatGPT or Anthropic Claude model, you are just asking a question. We call it as a prompt. Prompt is an input question. Typically, that is nothing but a user prompt. Means I'm asking a question. So I want to travel to USA and please create a travel plan or something. Show me a recipe for biryani. So this is a question. But you also need to provide a context for the question, which will be provided by system prompt. System prompt is a rule book or instructions which will say like what the model has to do, in what boundaries, what are the guardrails, how it should respond, what is the context it should consider. All those rules, whatever we want the program to use, you will provide in the system prompt. Here I'm saying you are a simple, helpful AI assistant. You are a helpful AI assistant. You just answer this question. So two informations you will pass, the system prompt and the user prompt. I'll just use these two informations. Now, how do I call this Ollama model? From the command line, I saw that it is simply like running Ollama run and give the model name, and you just type the user prompt. But when I'm calling via a program, then there is a function which I will use, which is the Ollama chats function. Ollama.chat, and I need to pass two things. First, what model I am using. The model which we are using now is the Gamma model, Gamma 3 1 billion parameter model. If I hover over it, you see that it is using a Gamma 3 1 billion parameter model. And then we should also pass the messages. The messages, it follows a standard format. When we are interacting with the LLMs, there are hundreds of LLMs created by a lot of different companies. If there is no standardization, what happens is that everybody will say, give message in different format. And somebody will say it is a system prompt, somebody will say it is a code prompt, somebody will say it is a user prompt or a message prompt or something like that. Then there will be no standardization. So what OpenAI decided is, let us do some standard way of talking to LLMs. So this is the standard way. We follow a message format, and this is the OpenAI standard, which is that you need to provide a role. You need to tell what is the role. This is a system prompt, and the content you will provide the prompt, the system prompt, which is you are a helpful assistant. If the role is user, you provide the user prompt. If the role is human, you provide some other prompt. If the role is assistant, you provide the assistant prompt. Understood? So this is the way. It's a standard messaging format. It's called as an OpenAI standard so that everybody can follow the same standard so that when you're doing an interoperability between multiple LLMs, it becomes very easy. So first thing, it is part of the Ollama chat function. It will accept two things. One is what model and what are the messages. Messages will have our question. I wish to travel to USA and I want the model to create a nice travel plan for 2 weeks. That's my intent. So these prompts are user prompts. You have to give these prompts. You can say like, I can construct this prompts and I can ask any questions. There's nothing like this is the series of the prompt we need to provide. You are creating these prompts. You are trying to provide the information. If you ask like what are the different types of prompt, you can go to Ollama's documentation about prompts, and then they will show you what are the different roles it will accept. Understood. So once I call this function, it will respond, this call response, and the response will be in the response variable. And the response variables will have a certain structure, response of message of content. So within response, there is something called as message. Within that, there will be something called as content. So once I run it, it will take some time, but what it will do is it will provide me a nice plan so that I wish to go to USA for 2 weeks, and then I would like to spend some good vacation. Probably I'll meet you guys, but that's my intent. So it is taking, at the moment, it is taking 20 seconds, 21 seconds. So we have to wait for a few minutes because US is a little far. I am in Hyderabad, so it's a little far. So probably it took 24 seconds for me to provide a plan for US. Now we are seeing that it is nicely providing information. So it's a trip theme is USA and then 14 days, 30 nights. And if you see, it started with New York City, Washington, DC, and then it's going to Southwest. And if I scroll down, it is also taking me to Las Vegas. I'm happy so that I can go play some casino, burn some dollars, but this is good. And it is also providing me an estimated budget and so on. So once I put logs, right, then I will be able to see how the parameters are being logged. So I can do all that stuff. But for today's exercise, we are not going to do all those things. But certainly we'll be able to see like what are the parameters passed. Now I'm able to see at this level that what is the input parameter passed, what is output parameter passed, and so on. But if I want to see like, what was the query, what was the response, and how much the response time, then I can log this information and I'll be able to see all those informations as well. But for today's exercise, I'm not doing that, but we will do a lot of deep dive things as we go deeper into the course. All right, so the trip is good, but what I wanted to do is this is again code wise, right? So I have to get the information in this code. So I'll make a small little. So the time I'm spending is 30 minutes. And in 30 minutes, I am able to make a code and able to interact with the model, do some work with the model, right? If you're getting it, can you just give me a feedback saying that yes, you got it or understood or something like that? Great, or let's continue, something like that. Okay, so that I get some feedback. Now I want to hit one more pedal. So we are shifting the gears. We are on the first gear, second gear, and now going to the third gear or fourth gear. That I wanted to create a small little chatbot. And with the chatbot, I will be able to interact with this local model. All this thing happening is with my local machine only. So I'll create a small little chatbot and I create a function called as a shout function. So what is the shout function? If I pass information in text, that will convert the text into uppercase. Small little function. Why I'm creating the shout function? If you see, I pass a small hello and then it becomes a capital hello. This is a small little function. And why I'm doing this is that I want to create a website which is a question answer website using the Gradio library. The Gradio.interface, I will use the function shout. It will have one input text box and one output text box. So with this one single line, I will be able to spin up a very small little website. Let me show you how it will look like. So once I run it, it spins a website on my local host. port number 7860. I click on this. You see that there is a small little website available which is working for this shout function. What will the shout function do? If I say wonderful, it will create that wonderful in a capital wonderful. Now, if you are saying it good, you can also type wonderful, right? So what we did is we are able to create a very slight little UI where I can give an input and it can give me an output. But there is no fun that I do anything shout, right? So what is the fun when I shout? Where is this? Okay. Yeah, right. So there is no fun to just use the shout function. Can we use our message function? So let me, uh, come on, is it? Oh. So what I'll do is I'll use, instead of the shout function, I will use a message GPT function. So the code which I just did, the Ollama code, I will wrap it up in a function. Are we getting? So the same code, the Ollama chat function where I pass the model and the message format, and instead of passing the user message or user prompt, I will pass this user prompt in the input to my message GPT function. So what is the message GPT function? It is a simple code like our shout function, which will get a question, and that question will be passed to the Ollama chat. Ollama chat will give the response, and the response will be passed as a written output of this message GPT. So that I can now use the Gradio's interface function. I'll call the message GPT instead of the shout function. I'll have one input, one output. Now input, I'm formatting a little bit more, like 6 lines input and 8 lines as output. So let me run this. So this will launch another website, 7861. If we're running this, it takes a second. It's loading the website. And if you see a little bit better, so you have a better user message and a better response output. So now I say, I want to cook biryani today. Can you please show me the recipe? All right. So I had this question also. So I'm asking, can you show me the recipe? On the right side, it will be showing the recipe. This is working from our local guys. Everything is local. Now you're seeing it is taking 14 seconds, 15 seconds, 16 seconds. You have to wait. And you're already hungry, but you have to wait now. So as you see, it's taking around 23 seconds. So 23 seconds it took, and it is responding in a markdown script. As you see, this is a markdown script. It is saying here is the recipe for classically slightly sweeter biryani. I didn't ask a sweeter biryani, but somehow it made up a sweeter biryani. But as you see, it is providing a lot of details. It is providing instructions. You see this star star asterisk asterisk thing. This is called as a markdown script. Now, what I want to do is I want to then save. I want to now, instead of the waiting thing, I want to do something else. So let me scroll down. So what I want to do is, instead of waiting, I would like to get instant answer like our ChatGPT. So if you give a ChatGPT or Claude or any other LLM, Gemini, so you'll get instant answer, right? Now, how that is happening is you will enable something called as a stream. Okay, so we spend around 40 minutes now. What we are doing is we are creating our own local chatbot. We are trying to create it better and better. One thing we just saw is if I ask a question, it is taking like 20 seconds, which is less, but still I don't want to wait 20 seconds. So for that, what I'll do is I will enable the stream option. Now, what will the stream option will do? Stream option will basically stream your output in a real-time fashion. So you'll feel that it is real time. And when you're streaming the output, you will not get the output directly, but you'll get the output in chunks. So you have to iterate through the chunks. So for every chunk in your response, you have to iterate through the chunk and you need to yield the result. Let me know if you're getting this. If you're not getting this, you just tell me that, please let me know I'm not getting this or something like that. Like what we are trying to do is I want to stream your response. So small little changes, everything else is same. So the model is same, messages are same, everything is same. Only one parameter here we added, that we want to stream your output. And while streaming, the data will not be one time. You will get in chunks. So you have to read one chunk at a time and then spit it out. So for that, you just need to iterate through your content, and you will be getting your output. So that is what you're saying. If I run this function, now I will change my output also a little bit. So I will add, instead of a text box, if you add a text box, you will see that all asterisks, asterisks, and so on. So I will change my output also to respond in a markdown. Okay, input in text box, output will be in markdown. So once I run it, now this is opening one more thing, and let me click it. It is locally opening in 7862. And here is the input and here is the output. Now I will say that I have already been to US, so let me go to Bali. So I say I want to go to Bali for a 1 week vacation. Can you prepare a plan? Prepare. Understood? So once I hit submit, on the right side, if you see, instantaneously it is preparing the plan. Now it feels that my model is like super responsive, but ideally it is not. It is still taking the 20 seconds, but instead of waiting for 20 seconds, it is responding, as you see, as and when it comes. So it is creating a very good list. If you see from the top, now this is bolded characters. Are you seeing? This is bolded, this one is bolded, and there are bullets also. This is called as a markdown script. Because I was providing the output in the markdown, here the gradio.output in the markdown, you are also getting your output in markdown script. Are you guys following? Now, one more magic I will say is I will copy this link. There is this real-time link. And there are, how many people are there? There's 27 people. I'll paste this link. I just want you guys to click on the link and then see if you're able to launch this same website. Click on the link. It's not like a spammy link, but just click on the link and then see if you're able to launch the same website. Right? And somebody say yes, and then I'll ask them to try it out. Someone say yes if you're able to see it. Okay, Venkat said yes. Venkat, could you try any questions? Others, please don't try. But because this, if you bombard, it will give you, it will take time. Only few people try. So Venkat said yes. So I will give an option for Venkat to try something. Can you try any question and see if it is responding? In fact, others can also try, but let Venkat say, right? Sanjay is saying yes. Yes means you tried some question and it is responding. If you tried something and it is responding, can you say that I tried and it is working or something like that? Yes, it is responding also. So good. So good. Sandhya got the ticket. Somebody else can also try. It will take a little more time, but if everybody is bombarding the questions, it will get clogged. Now, for the inference to be much faster, it is to be inferred from a very powerful auto-scaled machine. Then it can respond quickly. But now it is responding 1,000 miles away and or from my local machine, and so it is taking time. Got it? So it is responding for Daksha as well, and other people also it will respond. Now we spend 45 minutes, and we are able to see that I am able to do a lot of things. I was able to download my local LLM. I was able to run a local LLM invocation. I was able to create a little chatbot, not chatbot, a question answering bot. I can also create a chatbot, and I was able to do all these things. And then create a endpoint which which is now hosted on the Gridio. So this is connecting to my local model and then exposing an endpoint. So this will be alive for a week, but what it has done is has exposed a service with my local model, and it will be able to give me output. I can say like, can you write? I'm also trying the online hosted model. Can you write a program or see? So Fibonacci series. Okay, this is a top interview question. So there on the right side, it is writing code also, nicely formatted in a code format. This is the code for Fibonacci series. It's writing in Python. It is also giving me the description and error handling, how to run the code, all that stuff it is giving. Are you able to see it? Now I can ask it to write code, write test cases, write anything I can make it work. Okay. Now I want to do something else. I want to go to Amazon.com. So Amazon.com, and we will go to headphones. The Skullcandy Crush or something. Right. So this is $99. I'll copy this. I'll come to my chatbot. I'll say, what is the price of this one? Provide me some description for your depth. Price of Skullcandy. Okay, so let us see what it will do. So let us break down the price in the description of Skullcandy UO Crusher wireless Bluetooth headphones. Now it is saying as of November 2nd, 2023. Hello, what is today's date? It is 2nd May, right? Today is 2nd May 2026 on my, I'm running on 2nd May, you might be running on 1st May. But now it is saying November 2nd, 2023. The reason is because the model which I'm running, it will have something called as a knowledge cutoff date and time. So knowledge cutoff is November 2023. The model is trained as on November 2023. If you want to get any information from the model, you're running from the model. If you want latest information, then you need to connect this model with some other external sources. The external sources will get the information. The model can rely on the information of the external sources and give you an answer. But if you just ask the model what is what, it is clearly intelligently telling that as of November 2023, this is what is the price. But if you see the price is okay, I think $149, I think those 3 years back, but now it is able to give us a lot of information. And what I did is I just went into Amazon.com and picked up something random. Okay. And if you see, is it doing good? Impressive. So it's giving key features and doing all the good things. And this is a small local model, guys. This is not a powerful model. It's a small local model, and it is doing wonders with whatever uh, option it is provided. Understood? So we spent around 50 minutes, close to 53 minutes now. And what we are able to do is we are able to run a model locally with a code, launch like a little website. I am able to spin it, and I am able to do prediction also. This is called as a prediction, which is typically done by a classical machine learning model. But now I am able to provide this. Now I can also change this thing. I can say, okay, let us do for some other thing. I want you guys to select some other product. Maybe this little watch. So we'll select the watch. Watches, Fitbit watch, $149. All right. So what I'll do is I'll select this. Blue platinum. Coming back here, I will say, provide me the price of the product. Product in a JSON format. All right, I'm asking to respond in a JSON format. There you go. No masala. It is just saying this is the product. The price is in USD. Currency is USD. Price range is 199 to 249 estimated price. What is the price? 149. 199. Little bit of, I think, it is 199, but there's latest discounted price is 149, 25% off, but it is still $199. So it is doing good job. Now, what is this? It is responding in a JSON format. So imagine I can run this as a function and it responds in a JSON format, and then directly I can use the price of this product and I can ship this into some backend tables, or maybe call another API which can do something else. Are you getting what I'm saying? So it's not just text thing. It is now working like a API. And if I say, show me the price of the product in a JSON format, now it will respond in a proper JSON format. Understood? So I will leave it. We have spent around 57 minutes, and I hope we were able to get the value of our 1 hour, much more value of our 1 hour. I will just leave here for any questions you may have about our demo. So we'll spend around maybe 5-10 minutes or even more, depending upon the questions. The floor is open for any questions. Are you guys following, or is it clear, guys?
Actually, I have. You're basically trying. You're not going to explain the concepts, or like just trying to put that one and do the prompt engineering.
Now, this is one of the prompt engineering is one of the piece, right? We are going to learn all those things, like how this model is built, how do you optimally use the model, how do you send, how do you create projects with the different models, and so on. and how do you create agents, and all that stuff will be covered in the course. So prompt engineering is just one piece of it, but we'll go much beyond that. But in today, I don't want it to start saying that generative AI is like the science, art and science of something. So I don't want it to have a PPT kind of a thing, but rather we focus on real, practical insight. So that's the reason I have took this path, this way of teaching. And throughout the course, we will have this way of teaching.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Are you going to teach Python as well? That is there in the, modules.
Yeah, the Python, applicable Python will be taught in sense. So I'll not be teaching what is a variable, how do you define a class, how do you write a Python code. So that is not covered.
Outline. Okay.
So I expect that people are at least well versed with some programming language. Doesn't need to be Python. They maybe have done coding a few years back. They are familiar with programming and so on. And then Python is easy language. You will be able to get up to speed with the way we are doing coding and so on. So what we will cover is the libraries which we use, how do you write codes and so on for AI specific code. So Python for AI is covered, but not the native coding Python.
Thanks.
Hi, Sitaram. So, one question actually. So, we do have multiple things when we are moving towards the cloud, right? Like the infra, data engineering, or for the application like that. So, what is that equivalent for AI? And the core native cloud is also giving us the AI, like GCP it is giving the Vertex AI. And how do we differentiate that with our course and what exactly we are going to? And which engineer have to take which type of AI?
We will conduct couple of demos, madam. So I will, in the next few demos, we will be going through those things that what are the role of different engineers, where do they
Uh-huh.
fit into the entire life cycle, how the world is changing, all those things we will be learning in the next few sessions. So I would recommend you
Understood.
guys to please attend my other sessions so that at least
Understood.
you'll get that clarity.
Understood. Thank you. Thanks for that.
Any other questions? All right. So now about me, my name is Sitaram. I lead a large banking company. I lead a team in a large banking company and have close to 20 plus years of experience, core technologist. From an education standpoint, I have masters from BITS Pilani, and I'm currently doing my PhD from IIIT Hyderabad. And also from Rushford Business School, a doctorate in business administration, with the thesis topic on AI ethics, fairness, and bias. That's my thesis topic. And as a passion, I do teach. I'm also part of a lot of leaders' councils. I go to a lot of conferences, events, and speak at the events. As you go deeper in the course, you certainly will know a lot of things about me. But this is a brief info about me so that like, am I eligible to teach this course? And that's about me. So the course would typically start from 12th of May. The timings will be 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. IST, and and then we will take it from there. There will be few demos this week and next week. If you are interested, please attend all the demos, whether you would like to join the course or do not like to join the course. But one request which I would do is please make yourself open to learning AI and how do you deal with AI, because that is going to be the norm for the next few years. We're going to see that complete thing is going to revamp in the way in which we utilize AI. And that is quite essential for every experience range. It's not just for the freshers, but every experience range. It is very, very essential. So keep that thing open, keep that learning opening. And then if you have any further questions, do reach out to our organizers. They have posted their numbers. They will be able to answer any specific questions you may have. All right. If you have any further questions, we can I can stay for another 5 minutes, or else I will let you go and sleep. Have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Hey, is my voice audible?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, I was trying to unmute myself. I don't know, something happened. I just had one question. I mean, how much of agentic AI would be, I mean, introduced in this course? Bec-
Yeah, the course is primarily on generative AI and agentic AI, so we'll be covering most of our part on that. There are a
Okay.
lot of new things coming up in the market, like how do you build
Yes.
agents and so on. So we're also seeing that there's a lot of traction towards Claude Code, and building
Yeah.
ML via Claude Code. So the course will include all the latest things. And what I recommend my students is if they see something new, right? So how do you create
Mhm.
spec-driven development? How do you create models using newest agent types and so on? We will bring
Mhm.
that into the course, and then we will learn that. So that's how it will be dealt. From an agentic AI perspective, we'll be creating agents using LangChain, LangGraph, Crew AI, Agno, Google's ADK. These are traditional agents. We'll also be learning no-code, low-code agents using NA10 and Diffie and so on. And then we'll also learn Claude Code development using Claude Code.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Hey, how about the duration, Mr. Sitaram? Duration and how many hours you're planning? I
This
saw
is
it's
a
kind of
two-month
8
course.
modules.
Yeah, this is a
Sorry?
two-month course.
Oh, 2 months course. Okay.
Yeah, so
It's going to be 5 day per week, or it's going to
5 day
be
per, yeah, 5 day per week. So my Monday till Friday, which will be if you're in US, it will be your Sunday night till Thursday night.
okay, great. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, bye for now. Good day.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much, guys. I'll talk to you in the next demo or the next session. Bye.
Excellent. Yeah, bye now.